I wish I had an easy answer for you, but I think you've come to the right place to find an answer. I think that to a real true community and tribe will make all the difference for you. I hope so.
I think all of us have considered once or twice to leave everything behind, hit the road and discover a world of adventures. After reading Jessica Bruder's 2017 nonfiction book, Nomadland, Surviving America in the 21st Century, Frances McDormand thought of it too. But unlike most of us who would shake it off after a couple of hours, the actress enlisted Chinese director Chloe Zhao to bring to life a fantasy she had in her 40s, about changing her name to Fern, getting an RV, and hitting the road.
Hey, Fern!
You gotta make the hole bigger, so the road.
I think Fern's part of an American tradition.
Zhao not only accepted the challenge of directing it, but she also ended up writing and editing the story that came to be Nomadland. The movie follows Fern, a widow who leaves her town after it got extinguished during the recession in 2011. The woman decides to become a nomad, traveling through the American West in RV. But there's a reason I say the audience follows Fern through the story instead of watching her, and that's because aside from McDormand's protagonist and her family, every other character in the story is actually not fictional at all. In that way, we follow Fern as she takes us with her to meet the real-life people and their real-life stories as nomads.
I love this lifestyle. It is a lifestyle of freedom and beauty and connection to the earth.
Zhao already had experience working with non-professional actors from her previous films, Songs My Brothers Taught Me, and The Rider. But in this case the real-life people actually helped shape the path the story would take, which basically means that Zhao literally wrote the script and Fern's journey to match with the real nomads she met through research. Jessica Bruder, the writer of the book that inspired McDormand, that inspired this whole thing, was a key element to find the people that we would meet through Fern during the movie. The writer supplied her research to the crew and introduced Zhao to the nomads she met while writing her book. After that, Zhao and Richards traveled in their own campervan, Akira, getting to connect with the nomad community and solidifying their cast of nomads. That's how Swanky and Linda May, who were both in Bruder's book, came to star in the film. According to Bruder, she didn't know what would be good on the screen because she was not a filmmaker, but Linda had this quality that made her wonderful to work with and the writer hoped might transfer to the film. And it does. Linda is easily one of the most compelling characters of the movie and definitely the most lovable one. In a similar way, Swanky pretty much sets a new tone to the movie the second she walks into scene, and her monologue about a moment of bliss in the wild is one of the most heart-wrenching moments in the film. Another nomad casted was Bob Wells, who has been a full-time camper for the last 12 years and provides helpful tips on everything about the nomad life through his website and YouTube channel. Derek Endress, the young man Fern shares a lighter with, was found through street casting. He had been living on the road for 4 years then. Zhao says the scene where Fern recites Shakespeare to Derek is very special to her. I like to make films where there's something about it that's slightly off what the rest of the film is about. Fern is reciting a sonnet with a little young drifter. It seems like it has nothing to do with the rest of the film, but it somehow does fit. When the world throws interesting things at you, catch them. In the end, the cast of the film was decided in 3 ways. People Zhao and cinematographer Joshua James Richards met while on the road looking for characters, Bruder's book and real-life friends of Frances McDormand, like Melissa Smith, who plays her sister in the movie, and David Strathairn, who plays her love interest. Also, fun fact, Fern and her sister are the only characters that have a different name from the people who played them. After the cast was settled, a 36-member crew traveled through Nebraska, Nevada, California and Arizona during 6 months, recording as they went. The team made themselves part of the community, living out of vans during the whole shoot and learning more about the lifestyle. Zhao's approach to film with the non-professional actors was basically to film everything and try to get as many first takes as possible. Even the scene where Fern gets an upset stomach in her RV was filmed while McDormand was actually sick and truly taking a dump. While most of us might be a bit hesitant in being filmed in a state you wouldn't normally be even seen in, McDormand took it like a champ, saying that even though the experience was not a very pleasant thing, she thought it was great that it happened because they managed to film some good stuff. The movie's commitment to show the real-life stories of the cast of nomads can also be seen in the way Zhao filmed it. She wanted it to feel real so much that even the colors of the scenes are pretty similar to the colors that were there at the time of filming. That being, there's no feeling of digital interference in the scenes, even though there was probably some minor level of work done. Cinematographer Richards worked only with natural light, making sure to shoot most of the scenes at the end of the day to catch magic hour. That is a term used to reference the period in the day just before sunrise or just after sunset when the sun is not visible yet, so the light is softer and better to film or photograph in. There are some exceptions where the magic hour wouldn't exactly represent the feeling of the scene. The scene when Fern sees her plates getting dropped and broken was filmed a bit earlier than sunset, so the lights would be harder, better representing the feeling of exposure Fern would get from watching part of her space being invaded and then destroyed. The movie landed 6 Oscars nominations, among them Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Cinematography and Best Director. The last one makes Chloe Zhao the first Asian woman nominated as a director for an Academy Award. Chinese social media outlets were initially proud to celebrate Zhao's victory as their own, especially after the film's success at the Golden Globes, but after interviews from 2013 emerged with Zhao openly criticizing China, the government censored all mention of Nomadland online. The movie was generally well received by critics. The only cause of hesitation comes from the film's focus on individual freedom, ignoring Bruder's indignation over capitalist exploitation that can be seen in the book. That being, Fern is shown working for Amazon, and differently than pretty much anyone else that ever did so in the history of everything, the fictional character seems to really like it. She seems to enjoy most of her gigs actually, when in reality, the real nomads tend to face bad work conditions, have many injuries and health problems through their journey for independence. Even Linda May said in the books she hated working for Amazon and that they are the biggest slave owners in the world.
I need work. I like work.
All in all, Nomadland is a poetic movie. It's well filmed, well researched, and it accomplishes what Zhao meant to, being a window to a reality most of us wouldn't know much about otherwise.